As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Arthur and Sammy fight over a bag. Arthur gives up and retreats. The Sons of the Forest protagonist takes a sickle from inside the cornucopia. Nightmare Foxy runs away from the cornucopia. Joker grabs a jar of fishing bait, while Rick Astley grabs fishing gear. Phil Swift grabs a backpack, not realizing that it's empty. Jack grabs a sword. Russian Soldier number 5 snatches a pair of sais. Bruce, Freddy, Michael, and Bob share everything that they gathered before running away.
What?
New Frontier Guard number 3 runs away from the cornucopia. Scout Trooper and Daniels fight over a bag. Daniels gives up and retreats. Jake, Heisenberg, and a Nazi zombie work together to get as much supplies as possible. Again, what? Vanny stays in the cornucopia for resources. Demo Man gathers as much food as he can. G-Man runs away from the cornucopia. Ethan and the Russian Demogorgon fight over a bag. The Russian Demogorgon runs away. That's right. No one messes with Ethan. Day 1. Russian Soldier number 5 injures himself. Sammy receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Michael thinks about home. Pretty accurate. Jake makes a slingshot. Scout Trooper, Jack, Bob, and a Nazi zombie raid Bruce's camp. How does he have a camp? Arthur sprains his ankle while running away from G-Man. Run, Arthur. You don't want to end up like Shepard. Nightmare Foxy overhears Daniels and Demo Man talking in the distance. Heisenberg runs away from Joker. Let's hope that works out for you, because it didn't work out for the last guy who ran away. Vanny, Russian Demogorgon, Sons of the Forest protagonist, Freddy, and Ethan hunt for other tributes. Phil Swift questions his sanity. New Frontier Guard number 3 receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Probably the New Frontier. Rick Astley tries to sleep for the entire day. Night 1. Russian Demogorgon and Bob talk about the tributes still alive. Nazi zombie and Scout Trooper sleep in shifts. What are you doing? Russian Soldier number 5 overpowers Daniels and kills him. Well, Daniels, I guess you get to see Paul again. Joker, Vanny, and G-Man cheerfully sing songs together. Rick Astley and Jack talk about the tributes still alive. Freddy begs for Demo Man to kill him. He refuses, keeping Freddy alive. Freddy, why do you want to die, buddy? Jake loses sight of where he is. Sammy starts a fire. Heisenberg, Nightmare Foxy, and Michael sleep in shifts. This is a weird team. The Sons of the Forest protagonist cries himself to sleep. Bruce receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Who is sponsoring a shark? Phil Swift screams for help. New Frontier Guard number 3 tends to his wounds. Ethan and Arthur huddle for warmth. Day 2. Demo Man attacks Rick Astley, but he manages to escape. Sammy overhears Phil Swift and G-Man talking in the distance. Ethan and the Russian Demogorgon work together to drown Michael. Well, I guess evil dies today. Jake hunts for other tributes. Heisenberg receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Arthur discovers a river. Russian Soldier number 5 collects fruit from a tree. Sons of the Forest protagonist see smoke rising from the distance, but he decides not to investigate. Nazi zombie dies on dysentery.
What?
Scout Trooper, Nightmare Foxy, Bob, New Frontier Guard number 3, and Joker hunt for other tributes. Freddy makes a wooden spear. Vanny tries to spear a fish with a trident. Bruce questions his sanity. Jack thinks about home. Night 2. Vanny and Bruce sleep in shifts. G-Man and Joker run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Russian Soldier number 5 fends Jake, Heisenberg, and Phil Swift away from his fire. Ethan and Demo Man run into each other and decide to truce for the night. New Frontier Guard number 3 looks at the night sky. Scout Trooper cooks his food before putting out his fire. Jack and the Russian Demogorgon fight Freddy and Rick Astley. Jack and Russian Demogorgon survive. Wait, Does this mean I'm dead? Yes, but only in the Hunger Games, not in the real story. Oh. Alright then. Bob is awoken by nightmares. Nightmare Foxy climbs a tree to rest. Arthur, Sammy, and the Sons of the Forest protagonist sleep in shifts. Day 3. Russian Demogorgon, Nightmare Foxy, Vanny, Joker, and Scout Trooper hunt for other tributes. Russian Soldier number 5 attacks Sons of the Forest protagonist, but he manages to escape. Jake explores the arena. Sammy collects fruit from a tree. Heisenberg searches for a water source. Bruce constructs a shack. How? New Frontier Guard number 3 searches for a water source. Jack scares Ethan off. Demo Man chases Arthur. G-Man tends to Phil Swift's wounds. Bob camouflages himself in the bushes. Night 3. Sammy quietly hums. Ethan passes out from exhaustion. Heisenberg receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Jake receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Probably his fellow bandits. Demo Man and Vanny hold hands. Russian Demogorgon quietly hums. Bob, Phil Swift, Jack, Russian Soldier number 5, and Nightmare Foxy sleep in shifts. Joker tracks down and kills Bruce. Sons of the Forest protagonist and Arthur talk about the tributes still alive. New Frontier Guard and Scout Trooper run into each other and decide a truce for the night. G-Man thinks about home. Day 4. Ethan constructs a shack. Russian Demogorgon, Sons of the Forest protagonist, G-Man, and the Russian Soldier number 5 raid Heisenberg's camp while he's out hunting. Arthur and Scout Trooper split up to look for resources. New Frontier Guard number 3 searches for firewood. Vanny receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Bob, Joker, and Jack get into a fight. Jack triumphantly kills them both. Demo Man steals from Jake while he isn't looking. Things don't really go well when they steal from Jake.
Fuck you!
Sammy tries to spear a fish with a trident. Phil Swift and Nightmare Foxy work together for the day. Night 4. Sons of the Forest protagonist thinks about home. Russian Soldier number 5 is awoken by nightmares. Scout Trooper destroys New Frontier Guard number 3's supplies while he's asleep. Russian Demogorgon begs for G-Man to kill him. He refuses, keeping Russian Demogorgon alive. Arthur attempts to climb a tree but falls to his death. Sammy kills Demo Man with his own weapon. Phil Swift thinks about home. Jake starts a fire. Heisenberg receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Jack defeats Vanny in a fight but spares her life. Nightmare Foxy unsuccessfully starts a fire and sleeps without warmth. Ethan loses sight of where he is. Day 5. Russian Soldier number 5 chases Ethan. Scout Trooper questions his sanity. Sons of the Forest protagonist collects fruit from a tree. Heisenberg receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Vanny severely injures Sammy and leaves him to die?
No. No.
Nightmare Foxy discovers a river. New Frontier Guard number 3 diverts Jack's attention and runs away. Phil Swift receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Russian Demogorgon collects fruit from a tree. Jake also collects fruit from a tree. G-Man dies of hunger. Night 5. Nightmare Foxy traps and kills Sons of the Forest protagonist. Out of all the people you could have died to, you died to him? Scout Trooper and Phil Swift run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Russian Demogorgon fends Ethan, Jake, and Heisenberg away from his fire. But Demogorgon, you hate fire! Jack and Vanny run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Russian soldier number 5 receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor, probably Barkov. New Frontier Guard number 3 dies trying to escape the arena. Day 6. Russian Demogorgon dies from an infection. Phil Swift injures himself. Ethan, Scout Trooper, and Russian soldier number 5 track down and kill Jake.
What the fuck?
Heisenberg, Jack, Nightmare Foxy, and Vanny hunt for other tributes. Night 6. Heisenberg starts a fire. Vanny, Nightmare Foxy, and Jack cheerfully sing songs together. Scout Trooper and Phil Swift run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Ethan goes to sleep. Russian soldier number 5 thinks about home. The feast. The cornucopia is replenished with food supplies, his weapons, and memoirs from the tribute's families. Nightmare Foxy decides not to go to the feast. Heisenberg and Jack decide to work together to get more supplies. Ethan decides not to go to the feast. Phil Swift unsuccessfully convinces Vanny not to kill him. Russian soldier number 5 decides not to go to the feast. Scout Trooper decides not to go to the feast as well. Day 7. Nightmare Foxy chases Scout Trooper. Heisenberg and Ethan work together for the day. Russian soldier scares Jack off. Vanny discovers a river. Night 7. Russian soldier number 5 questions his sanity. Vanny, Nightmare Foxy, and Heisenberg get into a fight. Heisenberg triumphantly kills them both. Ethan loses sight of where he is. Jack goes to sleep. Scout Trooper cannot handle the circumstances and commits suicide? Day 8. Jack tries to sleep through the entire day. Heisenberg and Ethan hunt for other tributes. Russian soldier number 5 injures himself. Night 8. Heisenberg taints Jack's food, killing him. Russian soldier number 5 cries himself to sleep. Ethan attempts to start a fire, but unsuccessfully. Day 9. Ethan and Russian soldier number 5 accidentally detonate a landmine while trying to arm it. The winner of the Hunger Games is Walter Hardwell White. Heisenberg.
Heisenberg.